Hey everybody, and welcome back to CCLP1. So I'm actually re-recording this video here because for some reason it got cut off when I tried exporting and uploading it. I don't know what happened with that. I actually didn't know it got cut off until somebody commented on the video itself. So I noticed though that it was having trouble converting to an MP4 file when I was exporting it. So I thought, this is unusual, but I didn't realize that the base file was somehow corrupted. So in light of that, I'm going back and re-recording everything I did in that video, and then hopefully by next time things will be back to normal. So yeah, we'll just do what we did there, and then we'll come back to everything that will hopefully be new for recording, at least in the next installment. So this level is called the Shifting Maze, and you guys might remember this from my Pit of 100 Tiles Let's Play if you saw that one. But there it was called the Shifting Maze and the Impossible Maze. So this level was designed by Andrew Menzies, and this is actually one of my favorite levels in the set. And the reason why for that is, well, manyfold, but one of them is that the level is wonderfully open-ended. I like levels like this where there is that element of exploration that uses a method that in some iterations, or at least in some cases, might be considered tedious, but here it's really fun. In this case, it's just pushing blocks around and trying to figure out how to best get to the chips. It's also really interesting to optimize as well. I had quite a time optimizing this, and which is why I kind of remember the general layout right now, because I was actually recently optimizing this. So it looks like we found the exit up there. So we'll bring one more block through here, but we got the right side of the level to do, so let's do that. First, though, I'm going to go down here and grab lots of chips, because we haven't done that yet. Okay, I think I needed to actually go up here first and get this one right here before we start pushing things up there. And then I think from here it's just a simple matter of doing some bridging over this way here. This level reminds me a lot of Pain from CC1 in some ways, except it's actually fun. You don't have a long stretch of block pushing to do. You've just got that element of, hey, there's a bunch of blocks here and I can use them. But there's also the thinky element of, hey, if I push this in this way, then that could be bad. I know some veterans might find some of this stuff a little bit dry, especially if you're used to much harder levels. But you gotta understand, one of the things that really motivated us to make CCLP1 was to capture that sense of wonder that we had when we first played the game. And I think that's part of what makes this game so great, is that you have that freedom to experiment. There are consequences to your experimentation, but you do have that sense of freedom, and I like levels like this for that. Alright, so all we need to do now is just push this up over here and exit. So the next level is called Flame War. This is one I made, and this one did pretty well in voting. It was also in CCLP3 voting, but it didn't do quite as well there. And the whole concept here involves getting fireballs over to bombs, but you're controlling the fireballs with a teeth. And this concept is actually not entirely original. It, weirdly enough, came from CC2, but I found it through a CC1 level called Enemy Fire, which was made by Scott Feeney, who's a CC2 designer. I think the CC2 iteration of the idea was called Firing Line, if I remember correctly, and I think Joshua Bone made it. But it seems like Scott remembered that idea enough to make that level. But I wanted to make a version of it that was Pedantic Links compatible, because his wasn't, and he actually was really mad about the fact that it wasn't. I think he was, looking back at it now, he was passionate about Pedantic Links compatibility just because he was a CC2 designer, and some of you might know that button connections in that game work in the pedantic sense, where you actually have to have them in reverse reading order and all that stuff. So yeah, the original version of this level had, whoops, okay, let's go this way. had a bunch of gravel here as well, but I decided to take that out. And then on top of that, there's also a pair of flippers that you can bridge to by actually using all of the blocks. And I think you can do this by simply opening up a path over here and then controlling the fireballs from here instead of using the blocks to blow up bombs and stuff. And then you use the 4 blocks to bridge to the point where you can get behind the teeth. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, Slime Forest is the next level. This is a level by Marcus O, who, after watching his CCLP4 Let's Play, I can say that he actually seems to dislike mazes quite a bit. But I actually really like this maze a lot, just because it's got an aesthetic that's really interesting. It's also got a layout that pretty much subverts any attempt to try to use... Whoops. It's got a layout that also subverts attempts to try to use the follow the left wall or right wall approach, just because there's loops and stuff. And I really like that a lot. I was mentioning in my my cutoff recording of this that making a maze that loops like that and gets you lost is kind of an art. And I remember back in California, I went to a corn maze that seemed simple, but actually was very well designed in that regard. It was certainly better than a lot of the corn mazes in Texas that tried to make it super easy so parents wouldn't be totally panicking and wondering, you know, oh, my kid's lost, or I'm lost and I can't get out, and everything. And that's understandable, but they did this thing where you had this quiz, and you had to, it's like a multiple choice quiz, and each answer led you in a certain direction, and if you got led to a dead end, then you were wrong. And if you made it to another question, then you must be right. And because of that, it was very easy and linear to get through the maze. There wasn't really this sense of non-linearity to the maze, and I never really liked that. I thought that was kind of lame. So I like the fact that this level is non-linear as a maze. It doesn't feel like a maze with a bunch of forks. You know, it technically has a bunch of forks, but it doesn't feel like it has a bunch of forks, and there's a big difference there. The other thing that's really cool about it is I love this this layout where there's all these diagonally placed blobs that form walls, and they actually cut off a lot more being diagonal than you might think, even though there's like this open space near them. And I like that because there is a little bit of breathing room in the level to make sure that, you know, you're not feeling like you're just being pushed up against a bunch of blobs. Of course, it also allows for the chips to be collected without too much of a problem, which is pretty nice. Alright, so we got 3 left. I know one of them is by the exit, but I don't know where the other 2 are, and I haven't been systematic about any of this. Okay, there's one right there. Okay, that was a dead end. So you know what's been really annoying this past week? I've got this crazy mosquito problem in my apartment. And I don't know why, but for some reason they've just been in my bathroom. I mean, I don't really have like a bunch of standing water or anything in my apartment that they would just be breeding in or something. But I've gotten a bunch of bites lately. Alright, so level 95 is called Courtyard, and I thought there was like a story segment. Did I skip this by moving backwards when I was setting up for this session? Let me exit and go back in. Ah, there we go. Okay, here's the story segment. Having left the city and successfully crossed the swamp and the diseased forest, Chip found himself before the main above-ground entrance to the Bitbusters' abandoned laboratory. But the portal itself was hidden within a large, sprawling industrial building. Even if he managed to get safely across this creature-infested courtyard, he would need to figure out a route through the twisting corridors inside. Wonder if I'll be able to find any hints along the way, he thought as he started dodging walkers. So this story segment is meant to guide you toward finding a hint, which is kind of the challenge of this level. And this actually isn't really the first level to have, even official level, to have a hidden secret hint in it. But it is the one to have I think it is the first one to have a secret hint with something actually useful in it. In this case, the level 145 password. The previous hidden secret hint level that I can think of is Motion Blur, where there was that hint in the upper right corner that said each creature can be quite a character or something like that. Alright, so this is pretty easy. It's mainly an item swapper, and honestly, this wasn't really one of my favorite levels in voting, I'm not gonna lie. It did really well, though, so, I mean, I can respect that. But I thought there were better design levels that, you know, had the whole variety item swapper thing going on. And we certainly had a lot of them in the set. And there's a pair of suction boots I meant to go back for there, so let's do that. While the glider blows that up. But yeah, I mean, it's still a decent level. I hope you guys know that when I criticize levels, unless the level is just that badly made, I still can respect the way it was made. Like, I'm not going to be scathing against a level just because it's not my type of level that I enjoy. I will appreciate different design styles, even if they may not be my favorite. And we managed to get a bunch of fireballs cloned there, so thankfully they didn't end up in that trap. That could have been bad. Alright, so let's collect these, and then this will let us go back inside. And we could go to the exit right now, but we've got a hint to find. And you may recall that there was that force floor back at the starting area. Not there. Oh wait, did I just mess this up? Wait, no, I can go back through this. I need to go right through the teleport. There was a force floor at the starting area that we couldn't actually get through, but here we should be able to do so. Now that we've got our suction boots, we just have to be super careful not to get hit. So now we're outside, and all these walls are invisible so that we can keep the no open borders policy of CC1. And then we got this section here with a teeth. Psst, try HIUR for a password. Alright. I think we're beyond the point where the previous attempt at this session got cut off, so... Whoa. That part's always a little uncertain. And it turns out if we do that, we actually don't even need the red key, so... That's alright, so we beat the level. This was by Tom P. And we're moving on to Going Underground. Okay. Yes, you have to deal with the walkers. Lucky for you, there's a few water holes here. So, as you can imagine, optimizing this level is kind of a bit of a pain. The good news is, though, is that, as the hint mentioned, there are water holes. And you do have this ability to create twisting paths so the walkers just can't follow you as easily around the level, which is nice. This is kind of reminiscent of the level Underground from CC1. But instead of Paramecia, we have walkers, which is pretty cool. I don't think there are enough good walker levels out there. There was one in CCLP4 that I really liked. That made, or actually two technically, but the second one is less about walkers and more about a puzzle involving walkers, which is really all more about blocks than anything else. Okay, so I'm totally doing this in silly ways. Don't know how I feel about this. Let's try that. It's gotta go in sometime. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, now this part here I probably should have done earlier because this is even worse. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully this won't be quite so bad. We'll open that up. Jeffrey has this way of like doing this for like 2-section long timing, but I'm not good at that, so I just try to use my eyes. Okay, so now we've got one lone chip left. Where is that? Did all the walkers die? I hope they did. There they are. Or there it is. Okay, so we got all the chips on the first try too, which is nice. And then we got a bug. Cool. So that was over a minute slower than the bold route, but I'd rather play it safe for the Let's Play. The moment Chip stepped into the underground laboratory, the door clanged shut behind him. Even as he swung around to look, he heard the clicking of bolts sliding home, sealing him inside. He wasn't too alarmed, though. He noticed a card reader slot beside the door, and had faith that Melinda's keycard would let him out. But he decided it might be wiser not to play that card too soon. "Hello, Maximus," he addressed the air, turning back to look down the long, dimly lit passage. "Chip," the dreaded voice boomed, echoing off the walls. "I knew you would return to me. Nothing can prevent your final rise to my service. It is your destiny." "I'll never join you," Chip declared. "Melinda sent me here to shut you down, and your puzzles can't stop me." "Ah," Maximus's voice held flat amusement. "Melinda's champion. How romantic. Or is it merely her errand boy? Did she even tell you why she wants me removed, errand boy? Did she tell you the truth about us?" "What do you mean?" Chip asked uneasily. Maximus laughed, coldly even for a machine. "So, she failed to tell you of her greatest mistake. She couldn't face you with the knowledge of what I am. I, her own creation, the brainchild of her, and her lover." "Child? Lover?" Chip felt dizzy. "You're lying," he shouted accusingly. It couldn't be true, could it? Melinda would have told him. But she had kept one secret from him already. "I'm going to find the truth," he yelled at his faceless opponent. "I'm going to prove you wrong about Melinda, and then I'm going to disassemble you." "You may try," was the contemptuous response. "It is nevertheless a waste of your time. It was inevitable that you should learn the truth, just as it is inevitable that you will come to know the benefits of serving me. Seek and find me if you can, but those challenges you faced at our last meeting are nothing compared to the traps I have laid here, at the heart of my domain. As my heritage is Melinda's heritage, so too my puzzles are hers. Perfected. This time, Chip McCallahan, there will be no escape." Alright, level 97 is titled Gatekeeper, and this was another level from Pit of 100 Tiles that we had previously played. I don't think this has really gotten any change for the set. So, like it was in that set, you have to open up the green doors in order to let fireballs into bombs. And you have to figure out what goes where. So, we'll do that here. I think this goes around like that, and then this guy over here... Wait a minute. That might be wrong. Wait, no, that's not wrong. This goes over here. Nice little puzzle. I like it. And there we go. Sounds like all the bombs are blowing. And we don't have to worry about opening doors anymore since they're all taken care of. And we got 2 chips left, which are right here and up here. Alright, so now for the second part. I like levels with 2 parts. I don't know, there's just something about them that it can be fun. This trap is controlled by the button in the left side of the section. Okay, so we can stop the fireballs from coming out there if we hold down that button over here, presumably. I'm probably not going to be talking very much here, just because I kind of wore my voice out today. I was helping train my my new manager at work, because he's hired from outside, and I want to make sure he's up to speed on everything. So it's really nice to have someone else in my area now. Alright, so here we just need to do that, and now we've actually got a path to the exit, which is great. Alright, that is Gatekeeper. Rat Race. Man, we're getting all kinds of Pit of 100 Tiles things here. Alright, so let's do this. So this is another great example of a glider level. I honestly think that there are more levels revolving around fireballs than there are around gliders, just because fireballs are kind of a little easier to make levels about since they can be easily killed in water. Whereas gliders, you don't really have that luxury. You can only destroy them with bombs and links. Yeah, I think that's the only way you can really get rid of them. And I like the fact this level kind of solves that by having the gliders go in a loop for the most part. Like, that's a cool concept. Okay. I feel like we took more weights going back when we're going with the flow of the glider, ironically, than going against the flow. Alright, so now we got this last part here, which is the dodging section. It's not that bad, you just have to keep an eye out for everything. Thankfully, the intervals with the gliders are fairly reasonable. Okay, there we go. We got a bunch of chips there. Okay, now we get to the 3 last chips through this, and that was close. And then we just go back to the exit. I also like the fact that this level allows you to go through all this stuff a second time if you want to, or need to. Okay, deserted battlefield. So, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right off the bat. This level is one of my favorites in the whole set. It takes only 3 elements, basically. Dirt, blocks, and fire. And I guess floor tiles. And it makes a whole navigation puzzle just based on this. And I really like it when levels that are meant to be in a beginner set actually introduce and use the concepts in a measured way like this. Let's go this way. The other thing that's interesting about this level is that you've got this element of potentially pushing blocks onto fire, and so you have to be very careful about remembering that you did that in case you need to go back and push it again, or you're tempted to go back and push it again, I should say. I think we need to go back and actually do some stuff up there, so let's take care of that real quick. I don't really want to push any of these because I haven't been keeping track of what's what here, but this... I feel like I did something wrong there, but no, I didn't. Alright, so now we're on the left side of the level. And now we're stuck again. That's not good. Alright, I'm going to go around and play it safe here. Did I just mess this up? I feel like I did. Wait, no I didn't. There we go. I can get down here now. See, this is what I like about this, is that there are paths that you may not necessarily catch, but if you examine more closely, whether you realize it or not, you're being trained to notice things and make observations. I feel like I did something very wrong. And I think it has to do with that block that's 2 spaces up and to the left of me. I think if I hadn't pushed that, then I would have been able to make it. So let's restart. I'm going to try to be a little less careless about the way I approach this. So let's forget about that for now. And let's worry about this. I think this part here. No, is it not that? It's something. I'm trying to remember what it was. Okay, we made it here now. Okay. Okay, I think it was here. This is where we No? I feel like I didn't have this problem playing this on the failed recording. Wait, here we go. Let's do this. Okay. That's better. Okay, that's what I wanted to do last time. Okay, there we are. Cool. That was by Rosabellis. Amazing level. Absolutely love it. Loose pockets. Oops, I dropped my green key. I'd better go and find a way to get it back. ... Okay, so this level is kind of a trust me style level with a lot of red herrings and stuff. You can see some of them over here. But the correct solution is to use this tank button here, and in order to do that, we actually have to fill in the water spaces around here, or the water space there, so that we can then push this block onto the button there. So that will prevent the tank from being hit again, and we can get this, and now we can actually hit the tank again and get the key. And that enables us to exit. That was by Rock Generu. I don't think that level was modified since its original release in his Rock 1 set. That was the first custom set I LP'd. Wow. Time flies. Impressive, Maximus noted coldly as Chip emerged into the next room. Your deductive capabilities exceed my most optimistic estimates. You are solving my puzzles far too quickly. I fear you will interfere with the precise timing of certain plans. Yeah? What plans? Chip inquired sarcastically. You'll find out in due time, the computer voice promised ominously. Meanwhile, I'm going to slow you down a little. This is the perfect opportunity to test my new time suspension device. Within this puzzle, your time will flow at half the speed of external time. Let's see how quickly you can solve it now. And this is where I left off in the cutoff recording. So I'm going to stop this recording here, and next time we will take on, appropriately enough, time suspension. So until then, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side.